Today, I remarried a 20-year-old heiress. Young and the best wife ever.
Anthony, my ex-husband, boasted as he introduced the woman sitting next to him, dressed in lavender.
Chloe, this is my wife from yesterday's divorce. Glad I could shake her off for a pittance. After all, she was so smitten with me, it seemed she wouldn't leave easily.
Who does he think he is? I thought so, but I recognized Anthony's so-called best wife, and that piqued my interest more than his words. I let his words go in one ear and out the other. Anthony, seeing my reaction, continued to introduce the woman with even more pride.
The heiress of Hernandez Company, Chloe.
Hernandez Company?
Yeah, you've heard of them, right?
Of course, Hernandez Company is a well-known big company in this area.
Chloe, huh?
I know her well, she's famous. Anthony looked pleased with my words, but then I continued. My condolences. He looked puzzled at my response. The reason for my words. My name is Sophia, 29 years old. I'm a systems engineer. And I've just divorced. I met Anthony at an industry mixer, dated for about 6 months before getting married. Our marriage lasted 2 years, and divorce talks started just a month ago. I was shocked when Anthony brought up divorce. I thought we were doing well as a couple until then. But as soon as I heard Anthony's reason for the divorce, my feelings cooled, and I decided to cut ties with such a man immediately. I thought our marriage was going well, but upon reflection, it was because I was suppressing myself and enduring. Once I realized that, the decision came quickly. We didn't have any disputes over the divorce terms, so it was settled in just a month. Now, I feel truly relieved. I've always used my maiden name at work, so there hasn't been any issue professionally. I met Anthony at an industry mixer. It wasn't exactly a party, but purely a business networking event. A few young people in their 20s from my company were also sent. The meeting room was packed with over 100 people. Even though it was called an industry mixer, I had no idea what to do. Well, I was sent by the company, so the idea was to find something that could lead to new business. It was a buffet, so I ate and drank casually, exchanging business cards with people I met for the first time. One of those cards was Anthony's. I remember talking to him, finding out we were the same age, and shared the same hobby of watching movies, but that was it. Later, Anthony contacted me through the phone number on the business card, and we ended up having a meal with a few men and women. Then, we exchanged personal contact information and gradually got closer. At that time, Anthony seemed like a really nice person. He was cheerful, made jokes, and made me laugh, making me think it would be nice to be with him forever. Once we started dating, things moved quickly. We became lovers in no time, promised to marry soon after, and became a married couple just as quickly. Right after getting married, I felt something was different than what I had expected. What was different was that Anthony completely changed from when we were dating. Before marriage, he seemed kind, considerate, and caring, but all of that disappeared as soon as we got married. First of all, we both worked, but he did not do any housework. He said he was bad at housework and wanted me to mainly handle it, promising to help with what he could, but there was almost nothing Anthony could do. The only thing he did a few times was take out the trash, but then he stopped, saying,
"Taking out the trash isn't a man's job."
And he thought it was uncool. He did nothing, no cooking, no cleaning, no laundry. When he got home, he would just sit on the sofa, scatter his dress shirt, undershirt, and socks around, and lie down with his mobile phone. When I asked him to at least put his clothes in the laundry basket, he would get sulky, saying he was planning to do it when he settled down, but I ended up doing it anyway. When would he settle down? I ignored it once, leaving everything as it was, and of course, it was still there in the morning. In our house, We set the washing machine to finish drying by night, so if you don't put your clothes in, only yours will be left in the morning.
Just because I forgot to put them in once, you wash only your own clothes. That's spiteful to a ridiculous extent.
And so, he stopped talking to me for days, leading to unpleasant days, until it became normal for me to just put his clothes in the washer. Even though we both worked and agreed to contribute equally to the household expenses, he gradually started contributing less, claiming he had more expenses because he worked in sales. Moreover, when he found out I earn more because I'm in a technical job, he became even more reluctant to contribute. According to Anthony, he didn't get overtime pay because he was in sales, but received a lump sum as a sales allowance. Plus, he would get commissions based on sales performance, but recently his performance had been poor, so his commissions were low.
I had poor sales performance for a while because of our marriage and moving. I'll pay more once things go back to normal.
However, there was no sign of his performance improving. Instead, he seemed to lose the motivation to work hard once he realized I was earning significantly more than he thought, enough to support us both. He started slacking off at work, leading to a vicious cycle of worsening performance. A year into our marriage, Anthony was contributing just a few dollars to our household, acting more like a lodger than a husband, and I had no idea how much he was earning or spending. Despite me supporting our household, Anthony's behavior became increasingly entitled. Even when I was busy with work and came home late, he wouldn't bother to prepare a meal. Yelling, "Can't even make a meal, what kind of housewife are you?
I had to go out and eat again because of you. I'm putting my share into the house. You should pay me back for that."
He demanded I reimburse him for the meals he ate out. Already exhausted from work, I had to come home to household chores and Anthony's temper, which dulled my thinking. I felt like I was just mechanically moving through tasks, not really living. Now, I understand that living like that was wrong, but back then, I still loved Anthony and believed he loved me too, hoping we could live peacefully if I just tried harder. I didn't want to believe I was just being exploited and used by Anthony. I was hiding the truth from myself to soothe my heart. This went on for more than half a year. I didn't want others to know about our situation, so I pretended outside that Anthony was a good husband and I was a happy wife, making our marriage seem successful to anyone looking from the outside. Inside, I felt like a worn-out stuffed animal that's falling apart but still posts cute pictures on social media. Yet, I kept trying to believe that the stuffed animal was still lovely and huggable. But it was Anthony, the very person who caused these tears, who trampled over the last bit of face we had left.
"Hey, I've found someone else I like, so can we get a divorce?"
It was a shocking, unexpected request without any warning.
Eh?
That was all I could say. I thought it was a misunderstanding. Or a bad joke.
"So, I'm saying I found someone else I like, let's get a divorce."
It wasn't a misunderstanding.
Why?
That was my next question.
You've become so boring since we got married. Always busy, neglecting me. There's no point in being married like this.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Silent, I listened as Anthony continued as if I had no part in this.
"I've been really suffering. Then I met a woman who could heal that pain, and she's pregnant. So, I need a divorce as soon as possible. I can't let my child be born without a dad, right?"
It was a shocking confession.
"So, I won't ask for alimony since I have some responsibility. Just sign this as soon as you can. I'm going to her place now and won't come back to this house. I'll collect only the important stuff later. You can do whatever you want with the rest. Bye."
With that, Anthony left, just saying what he wanted to say and leaving the apartment we had started our married life in just over a year ago. I stood for a while, looking down at the paper on the table, where Anthony's name was neatly signed with a black pen. What just happened? Before anger or tears could surface, my mind was filled with question marks. It meant I was too exhausted even to feel such emotions. Eventually, I slowly sat down and stared at the paper while seated. This has got to be a joke. Those words naturally escaped my lips, and only when I heard them did my emotions start to stir again.
This has got to be a joke.
Changed after marriage? That would be you. Marriage has no meaning? What does marriage mean to you then? You were suffering? I was the one suffering. Met a woman who could heal you. So, you're confessing to an affair, right now. She's pregnant? Meaning, you did things that could get her pregnant. My anger reached its peak, like magma erupting from the depths of the earth.
This has got to be a joke.
I calmly recalled Anthony's words again. He said he wouldn't ask for compensation because he had some responsibility, too. What responsibility could I possibly have? No matter how much I think about it, I can't remember. Well, I did have a responsibility. The responsibility for letting Anthony do whatever he wanted. I let him get carried away, resulting in him committing the sin of making another woman pregnant. But, I have no intention of forgiving Anthony's sin, no intention of forgiving it. I have my responsibilities, too. Let's see him make amends. After working overtime, I came home late, and by the time I snapped out of my daze from Anthony's words, it was nearly the next day. But now we live in an era where the internet operates 24/7. I immediately started searching for a lawyer specializing in divorce issues on my computer. The next day, I managed to make an appointment and meet with a lawyer. I was fortunate to find a highly skilled lawyer reputed to be the best for divorce cases. We quickly began gathering evidence after consulting. Currently, the only evidence I had was Anthony's statements at that time. According to the lawyer, obtaining the testimony of the other party would be the quickest way. After all, they had even made a child together. It wasn't just a one-time fling, but a relationship that must have lasted for some time. After thinking it over, I decided to send a message to Anthony. The message asked if it was true about the child, how many months along, how long this had been going on, and that I was too confused to think clearly and wanted to know the truth. Anthony replied immediately. The content confirmed the child was real, currently 3 months along, and he had met the woman about 3 months ago at a party. They quickly became close, and soon after, she became pregnant. She was young, beautiful, and the daughter of a company president. Unpleasant as it may be, it was all true. His candid confession ignited my anger once more. He must think I can't do anything, mocking me. He wouldn't have imagined that this message would become evidence. Such foolishness, to be seen as Anthony's compliant woman, made me vow revenge anew. I had the lawyer prepare a certified mail and sent it to Anthony's specified contact address. Surprisingly, the address was Anthony's workplace. He might not want his affair known, but sending it to his workplace would surely raise suspicions, wouldn't it? Well, it's not my concern. As long as I get what I'm owed, he's nothing more than a stranger I'll cut ties with. After sending the certified mail to Anthony's company, I soon received an angry call from him.
What's that about? Why are you sending that to my company? And compensation? I won't pay a dime.
I didn't know where he was calling from, but yelling about compensation like that would only prove the contents of the certified mail to his coworkers. I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity.
What's so funny?
Nothing.
But you will pay the compensation. I told you, I won't pay.
After letting Anthony vent all he wanted and hearing his heavy breathing, I calmly explained to him. First, Anthony had an obligation to pay compensation. Having an affair while married is precisely that. Then, if he refuses to pay, I would sue. It's my right. I, the betrayed spouse, have the right to do so. And here's the crucial part. If you refuse to pay, I won't divorce you.
That would be a problem.
Then pay quickly, please. Then I'll sign the divorce papers and send them to you. Is your workplace still the best address?
Don't joke with me.
Who's really joking here? Probably trembling on the other end of the phone, I continued speaking calmly to Anthony. I presented the amount I had paid during our marriage and stated that he needed to pay the difference for what he should have contributed. The rent for the apartment, electricity bill, gas bill, water bill, taxes, and whatever else. I'm going to sue you for not paying these living expenses, so pay that with interest. And tell me who she is.
Why should I tell you that?
Of course, to demand compensation from her too.
What?
Anthony continued in a voice loud enough to echo throughout his company.
The other party is pregnant. You're going to demand compensation from a pregnant woman?
Now, everyone at your company knows what you've done.
Pregnant or not, getting involved with someone's husband means facing the consequences.
So, please convey my regards to your partner.
Oh, and from now on, please direct any communication through my lawyer. If you contact me directly, I'll add that to the charges. Actually, I'll be billing you for the lawyer's fees too.
I said what I needed to and hung up the phone. I felt refreshed. Surprisingly, shortly after, Anthony transferred not only the compensation, lawyer fees, and various other charges I had demanded but also the amount I mentioned I would claim from his partner, all in one lump sum. I was shocked. Where did he get the funds? Perhaps borrowed, or maybe the president's daughter, his partner, or her parents paid to get them married as soon as possible. Well, it doesn't matter. Having received all I was owed, I was ready to cut ties with such a man and start a new life. Fortunately, with a significant amount of money in hand, I might even take a vacation abroad. With those thoughts, I submitted the divorce application myself to the office. I had my lawyer communicate on my behalf. I was truly grateful for all the help, and now everything was over. I thought I would never see Anthony again. Yet, fate has a funny way of working. The day after I got divorced, I encountered Anthony and his partner. Taking a day off for a change of scenery, I went to see a movie. In the cinema, I saw Anthony and a young woman, clearly dressed in maternity wear, sitting together in the premium seats. I had decided to indulge myself with the compensation money, booking the best seat for a popular movie. An unusual splurge led to this encounter. The woman sitting next to Anthony was indeed beautiful and young. But her face seemed familiar, and I tilted my head, pondering. Seeing me, Anthony said,
"Today, I remarried a 20-year-old heiress. Young and the best wife ever."
He proudly introduced the woman sitting next to him in a lavender dress.
"Chloe, this is my wife from yesterday's divorce. Glad I could shake her off for a pittance. After all, she was so smitten with me, she wouldn't easily leave."
Who does he think he is? Though I thought so, I recognized Anthony's so-called best wife, more intrigued by her than his words. I let his words go in one ear and out the other. Wondering what I thought of that, Anthony continued to introduce the woman with more pride.
"The heiress of Hernandez Company, Chloe."
Hernandez Company?
Yeah, you've heard of them, right?
Of course, Hernandez Company is a big name around here. But it's not just famous for its business. It's because the president's eldest daughter is a well-known celebrity. Understanding who this Chloe was made sense to me.
Chloe, huh? I know her well, she's famous.
Anthony looked pleased with my words, but then I continued. My condolences. He looked puzzled at my response. How's your eldest doing? And how many children does this make?
Eh?
Chloe calmly responded. Oh, you're well informed. This will be the 5th. Anthony exclaimed.
What?
But could only look back and forth between me and Chloe, not understanding. Oh, the movie's starting. Enjoy. With that, I moved to my seat, a bit away from Anthony and his company. The movie started immediately. I could hear a man and a woman arguing somewhere in the distance, but it must have been my imagination. I relaxed into the plush sofa, enjoying the much-talked-about film from the best seat in the house. Everything outside the movie world was out of my reach now. That woman, Chloe, Anthony's new wife, is notorious around here as a troublesome young lady. I'm a local, having gone through a girls' school from elementary to high school. At a reunion, I heard rumors about Chloe, a fellow alumni. She was notorious for her wild ways since middle school and had her first marriage at 16, during her first year of high school, leading to a hiatus due to pregnancy. That marriage ended quickly after the baby was born, and though she returned to school, she repeatedly took breaks for subsequent pregnancies and marriages. Apparently, she didn't care much for school, but her parents wanted her to graduate, so they donated a significant amount to ensure she could. She was pretty and from a wealthy family, never short of male attention. The children were raised by nannies, and Chloe, supposedly their mother, continued to play carefree, claiming it was because she easily gets pregnant, much to her parents' dismay. However, her reputation has made local men wary of her. Her past partners were all students who faced school or job troubles once the relationships were known. Having a divorce record complicates future marriage prospects. Though Chloe's family is wealthy and doesn't demand child support, fathers are forced into marriage for the sake of the children, only to be quickly divorced after the birth, never truly becoming part of the Hernandez family. It's clear her parents never intended these men to be more than temporary. I'm sure the compensation and other payments were made by Chloe's parents, needing a father for the upcoming child. To them, the amount paid was trivial compared to their wealth. Anthony, not being from this area, was clueless about the Hernandez heiress at the mixer where we met, his first event after transferring here. He may think he's become a part of the Hernandez family. But we'll see how long this marriage lasts. 2 years have passed since I put an end to our brief marriage. As planned, I quit my job and used the compensation for a round-the-world cruise. The divorce was a good reason to leave what turned out to be a rather toxic workplace. After enjoying a leisurely cruise, I returned home, started my own business, and began working from home. Though the job was demanding, I'm grateful for the skills I developed. Business is going well, allowing me to live comfortably and save for retirement. After my marriage to Anthony, I was convinced I'd never marry again. That experience made me work hard on my own. Considering those nearly 2 years of marriage, this trouble seems like nothing. Being unrecognized and treated like a slave, those humiliating days make me appreciate being able to continue my favorite work and getting paid for it even more. Working from home allows me the freedom to manage my time. Of course, there are deadlines, and sometimes I have to work through the night. But if I manage my time well, I can enjoy traveling, concerts, and theater whenever I like. Unexpectedly, I now have someone important in my life. Having learned my lesson from Anthony, I thought I'd never love anyone again, but I met a man during that cruise. He's from abroad, and we're in a long-distance relationship, but he's about to finish his work in his home country and come here soon. I don't know what the future holds. Living together might bring unexpected challenges. But somehow, I feel we can overcome any issue that arises. There might even be a chance of getting remarried soon. Oh yes, about Anthony, Chloe safely gave birth to a girl, but apparently, the child wasn't Anthony's. Once that was discovered, he was quickly divorced and kicked out. Well, of course. If he's not the father of the child, there's no reason to keep him around. Anthony quit his job, acting as if he were the heir to Hernandez's company, but he lacked the skills for the job, and on top of that, Chloe got tired of him and demanded a divorce. Anthony resisted, but after being satisfied with a comfortable life funded by the compensation and other payments from our divorce, he was told he should be content with just that and was given a small severance before reluctantly signing the divorce papers. After divorcing Chloe, he desperately contacted my lawyer, wanting to reconnect and start over, revealing all this during that conversation. When he went to the apartment we shared, he found out I wasn't there anymore, and I had quit my job. He was bewildered about where I could be and rushed to the lawyer's office. After the divorce, I quickly cleared out the apartment, getting rid of most of my belongings. It's no surprise I was gone. I sent only the items I couldn't part with to my parents, who understood and willingly took them in. I've been quite unfilial. I owe them a lot of filial piety now. When my lawyer asked if I wanted to talk to him, my answer was, of course, no. I was on the ship at that time, and being disturbed during my enjoyable journey made me quite displeased. I told them to never contact me again, and that was the end of it. I don't know and don't intend to find out what happened afterward. I'm looking forward to the life I'll start with him, focusing only on the future. I'm sure happy days will continue for us.